All right, just, real quick, we're talking about Neo-Imperialism in China. We already touched on most of this. Here's the Opium War with the British. Here are the opium poppies attacking China. Just want to throw this in there real fast. New imperialism, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you a little short answer question about this, is also called Neo-Imperialism, and it's a little different than traditional imperialism that we have been talking about. This is when an old school imperialism, when a larger country economically took over a new territory. Well, neo-imperialism is going to be when it's not so much a country, but it is a multinational corporation will do the same thing. All right, countries and corporations will go in and they will do the imperializing, not just the government, but a multinational corporation. The country or its companies are going to build a factory. They're going to build transportation facilities. They're going to build ports, and they're going to build railroads from the new territories, Hong Kong over into here. And the local natives are going to do all the work. And the European countries justify this by saying, well, we're giving those people jobs, all right? They would have nothing if it wasn't for us. And the Europeans are always going to insist on trade agreements. No matter what happens, we're going to come back to this. It's going to be a thing known as extraterritoriality, when no matter what, the foreign government always comes out on top. The trade agreement will always favor the European country or the United States. And they do this by military threat or bribery. And local government officials are going to be paid off, and they're going to become wealthy and let the Europeans do this because they are getting rich. And the best example of this happens in China. And for centuries, we know the Chinese had controlled their own trade. But after industrialization, as we talked about in traditional imperialism, the Western powers slowly began to impose their will and their influence on China. Previous to this, there was the Cantonese system, where sailors were trapped in outside the miniature Great Wall on the island. They could not enter mainland China. And because they were an ancient river valley civilization, China had always been able to export more than it imported. And that the Europeans had to deal with their way of doing things. Well, the British began to ask for better trading laws. And the Industrial Revolution is going to come in, and here's where the Qing dynasty tells the British absolutely no. England has nothing that China needs. And then the Industrial Revolution changed that. And then we fight the Opium War, which I told you about. And it's here where we get the Treaty of Nanking. Right? And this was the first in a series of treaties where China will lose control over its trading routes beginning in 1842. Great Britain makes China sign the Treaty of Nanking, which gives Britain control over the trading rights with China. As soon as, the best deal when trading with China. When England does this, other industrial powers, France, the United States, quickly jump in. And a result of this treaty, Great Britain received the island, the land of Hong Kong. And they got payment for losses to property in the Opium War, known as a reparation we'll talk about in World War I. And because of this, the British citizens in China are tried and prosecuted and have to follow English law. They are not bound by China. The Chinese government has no power over them. And so the final blow to China comes when Great Britain demands what is known as the most favored nation status. And I'm going to go to this last slide here in 1 second. Is when that clause, which is very important even in the world today, it's where a country gets the same or better rights than all of its competitors. So the example that I always use is if an English ship pulls into a Chinese port and they have to pay $5 docking fee, all right? The French come in and they're able to negotiate, and the French only have to pay a $4 docking fee. Well, automatically, Great Britain's payment is lowered to $4, if not better than $3.50. No matter what happens, England always gets the best deal. And so things happen like the Taiping Rebellion, like we talked about, where 20 or 30 million people are killed. And then it's the Boxer Rebellion, where I showed you the international community, French, British, German, Japanese, United States goes in to put down this rebellion. So this is where I want to stop, where you have China, looks like a large pie, right? And here's Japan, here's France, here's Russia, here's Germany, here's England, and here's China going stop, 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 as they are carving up China just the way they did with Africa in the Great Scramble. So that's a good quick look at Neo-Imperialism. I'll show you a little picture of that, and we're almost to the AP exam, guys. All right.